on the channel for the Star Wars Black Series, we got the exclusive Jon Favreau as Paz Vizla.
The spirit of the warrior will run forever!
Kyle here, and welcome back to the channel for another Star Wars Black Series unboxing and review, or you could almost call this the Star Wars Selfie Series. But today we got Jon Favreau as Paz Vizla. But remember, for all your Star Wars needs and a whole lot more, make sure you're hitting up Entertainment Earth. Use discount code Kyle, save yourself 10% on all in-stock items, and also anything over $39 does ship free. But today on the channel, we're talking the Hasbro exclusive Jon Favreau figure selfie series. Like I said, it's kind of like that. We all know about the selfie series going on right now. You can get yourself on a Star Wars, Power Ranger, G.I. Joe body, whatever you do choose. That's kind of what we got here. It's like Jon Favreau got his own selfie series on the heavy-duty Mandalorian in a lot of ways. But still cool, a little tongue-in-cheek, of course. A perfect exclusive. This wouldn't go so hot at normal retail, I don't think, but it's a really cool exclusive that we have seen before with David Filoni in his X-Wing gear, and of course George Lucas in his Stormtrooper gear. So it does kind of fit the mold of what they've been doing with the Star Wars Black Series as far as some of the creators, executives, whatever you want to call them, in this point in time. But we're going to, of course, do this review like we do all the other reviews on the channel. We're going to take a look at the packaging. We're going to talk about it. We're going to unbox it. We're going to talk about it. We're going to see where it goes from there. So without further ado, let's check this out. Very deluxe packaging here, different than the normal Black Series, but some elements to tie back in. Of course, you see the orange writing on these guys. Kind of fits in with the Mandalorian. Of course, we know the color coding on the Star Wars Black Series. Heavy-duty Mandalorian helmet right there. Star Wars The Mandalorian. Nothing too fun on the spine there. We do get a little glamour shot. It can fit in against everything else as we're accustomed to with the Black Series these days. Jon Favreau looking like a Jon Favreau could look if he was in the Black Series right there. Nothing fun on the back. Star Wars Mandalorian, no blurb, no write-up, no nothing, just plain Jane. Not a lot going on here. Now, this packaging is very interesting as it does just slide out like so. Very cool, I guess. No plastic in this. We, of course, know the plastic-free run-through that they're doing, all that kind of fun stuff. We do have that going on. He is strapped in there, of course, with a tie, so we'll have to cut all that out. But orange background, I guess that looks pretty good. You do get the same weapons that we got with the heavy-duty Mandalorian. Basically, a very easy repaint is what this is. But when we do slide this out, we do get a little bit of a blurb, so let's read this blurb. Let's see what's going on with old Jon Favreau. Paz Vizla, of course. Celebrate the creator of Star Wars The Mandalorian with this Jon Favreau figure, dressed as the iconic Paz Vizla. Favreau voices this brawny Mandalorian warrior, just as he did for the fan-favorite Mandalorian pre-Vizla in Star Wars The Clone Wars, bringing his unique passion and vision to a galaxy far, far away. There it is. Star Wars The Mandalorian. All right, well, that's about it for the packaging. We'll get the figure out in a second here, but I'm just going to cut him out. We'll be back talking all things Jon Favreau. All right, we got him out of the package. Let's dig in, see what's going on, and then we got some comparisons we got to do in this very video as well. So let's start with some of the add-ons, the little accessories we got going on here, and of course, like we've seen before, we do got the heavy-duty Mandalorian backpack and big gun. Very much similar. I might as well grab this out right now. We'll just have this here on the table. But of course, this is the traditional version of the heavy-duty Mandalorian. I got this going on right here. Looks really, really good. Looks very similar to this, as you would expect. A little bit of differences here. Not a ton of differences, really. Maybe a little bit. It's got a little bit of a dirtier wash on the back of the old one compared to the backpack on this one. We still got the same articulation with the hoses. I guess we'll call it a hose. We can move this hose around. Of course, you can move this one. You can move the gun back and forth, up and down, whatever you need to do. Of course, the handle is movable as well. So a good amount of articulation for a weapon for sure. But it is the same paint by numbers here. But a nice cording to it. Nice, it does work. It works really good and it does look really nice. So a lot of reuse as we expect with this figure, of course. Then we get down to the figure itself. And the colors are basically the exact same, just a little differences, just little nuances. On the gun on the side, on his knee pad here, his two knee pads, his shin guard on one leg, different color than the old one. So we do got a little bit of differences, but I wouldn't say even enough to be dangerous, really. But it is what it is. But it is, of course, the same figure throughout. You get the arms that go all the way around. You get the single-jointed elbows, good range of motion. You do get back and forth on these as well. Hands back and forth, side to side. Head back and forth, side to side like we're used to. Do got a little bit of hula hoop at the top. You can even hear it. You can hear it there, but not a ton of articulation, but a little hula hoop action. Nothing at the waist. He can do those big old Mandalorian splits, kind of. No thigh cut. Oh, no, we got a thigh cut there. It's just extremely tight, but you do have a thigh cut going on. Double jointed knees. They are not pinless. No boot cut, but you do get the ankle rockers back and forth. So our paint by numbers, once again, Black Series articulation here. You do get the helmet, and then you get the head. Now, this is the biggest difference between the old version we have here. Of course, the helmet looks pretty much identical. It is the same exact everything. A little bit more scrapes and dings, highlighted here a little bit more in silver, a little duller silver on this. But once again, like the weapons, pretty much the same thing. You get the idea, just very, very minute differences. The big difference here between these helmets is this one's removable, this one is not removable. So remember that, but of course it does just slide on his head. Very simple there. Fits very well. It's not going to fall off if you put it upside down or anything like that. A good looking helmet, though. I do like this. Always love the Mandalorian style helmets like a lot of us do, of course. But then we get down to the Jon Favreau head, and I'd say you know who this is. I guess, I don't know. I take that back a little bit because we always say, hey, pop the head off, hand somebody the head. Do you know who it is? I don't know if you'd say, oh, that's Jon Favreau. I don't know if that would work because if you're thinking action figures, you're probably not thinking him. You're trying to think of, oh, okay, is this Luke Skywalker, Han Solo, or whoever it may be. Jon Favreau is not one that you're going to think of with action figures. Does that make sense, as Ric Flair would say on his podcast? But it does look like him when you know it's him. Does that make sense? How about that? But it does look like Jon Favreau a lot to me. Got the nice black hair going on. A little bit of that Star Wars shine to the face, a little bit of a gloss to the face that we're accustomed to. Of course, he does have his beard going on, his goatee. Got good articulation. You got the head and neck articulation. I forgot to point that one out. I should grab this. Of course, this isn't Jon Favreau's first figure. We also got a Happy Hogan figure back in the Iron Man days from Marvel Legends. So you get a bearded version and a non-bearded version. Pick your poison, choose your own adventure. Which Jon Favreau head do you enjoy the most? Very, very cool, but it does look good. Does the head pop off? Oh, not easy. Not easy. I was hoping it popped up. We could do a little head switch here, but I can't do that. But it is Jon Favreau. It definitely looks like the actor. When you have it attached and you know it's going into it, you're like, oh yeah, that's him all day long. Does he fit on a ringside collectible stand? Use discount code Kyle. Save yourself 10%. And of course, he fits like a glove as well. So looking really good. I got to be honest, I got this because I was caught up in the madness a little bit. I said, oh, we got an exclusive. I'm all in. I love the Mandalorian. I got all the Mandalorian figures, which is true. It's part of the completionist aspect I got going on here. But taking the step back and many, many months since we pre-ordered this, does this set my world on fire? Absolutely not. It's a cool piece in a corner of a bookshelf. A cool thing, hey, I got the creators on display, and speaking of, we'll get George Lucas, David Filoni, you got the three guys right there. It's a cool little collection inside of a collection, almost like an Easter egg in your shelf. It's something cool you can do, but is this a must-have? By no means is this a must-have. I can see a lot of people not wanting this or passing on this, and that's why it is a perfect exclusive. You can pass it by. You don't need to get it if it's an exclusive, and I think it helps with the limited aspect here because this isn't made like a, oh, you know, an Ewok or an Admiral Akbar that everybody wants. Everybody wants an Admiral Akbar. Not everybody's probably looking for this version of Mandalorian. More people looking for this version for sure. But still a cool figure. I like what they did here. It's an interesting one. It really is the selfie series before the selfie series. And it'll be interesting what other creators will get figures. You know, of course, we've got Stan Lee back in the day. We've got a lot of these guys. And I do think that is pretty cool. But once again, just not for everybody. So there it is, Jon Favreau, Heavy Duty Mandalorian. What are your guys' thoughts? Let me know in the comments down below. You made it this far, you might as well like the video. Subscribe to the channel, turn on the old notification bell. Don't forget about the Patreon where you can get early access to videos like this, bonus content, exclusive content, giveaways, Q&As, you name it, all over there on the Patreon. And best of all, you do support the channel, and you can also support the channel at ProWrestlingTees.com. And don't forget to follow along on social media, SirPaul64 on Twitter, Instagram, _Kyle_Peterson. So for Jon Favreau and the Star Wars Black Series, I am Kyle. See you guys all real soon.